Hello beauties, it is Olivia Grace and I'm back with another video, and today we're talking about stopping fighting the facts. Basically stop feeling like you have to resist your 3D or resist what's in front of you. And this is kind of piggybacking off of my last few videos where I've been really just diving into ease in manifestation and really manifesting from power versus manifesting from force. So that's what I'll be talking to you guys about today. I want to let you guys know that I am doing a group coaching program this fall. And I'm super excited about it because for a while, it was kind of coming to me in like these bits and pieces. But like the other day in meditation, it all just downloaded like into me, like everything about it, like the amount of people in it, the topics, how long it should be. Every single thing about it was just given to me. And it feels very much like preordained. Like it feels very much like the souls that are coming into it, this is something we intended like long before we came here. So I'm really, really excited about it. So if you guys are interested, I'm focusing on healing and really embodying our core beliefs, which is what I've been talking about in the past few videos as well. It's like really identifying, focusing on your identity, right? So that your manifestations are a natural expression of who you're being, rather than trying to create things to express what it is that you want to express or to feel what it is that you want to feel, right? So that's what I'll be talking about in the group coaching program. And we're focusing on purpose, passion, and prosperity. So I'm so excited for it. So yeah, just send me an email. My email is in the description if you're interested, and I can get you more information about that. But yeah, I'm still doing one-on-one coaching. I'm still creating guided sat scenes and guided revision scenes. So those links are also in the description if you're interested in that. But let's get into the video. So something that I noticed, like when I was talking about manifesting with power versus manifesting with force, right? Like force, I feel like is you're trying to make something happen. And this is something that is easy to get into, with all the techniques and all of, trying to make sure you're in the right state and make sure you're doing it right. And, especially when we're really needing it to unfold, right? We need it to happen right now. We can be in that energy of forcing and of trying, like I'm trying to make this happen. Everything I'm doing is to try to make this thing happen, right? And then when you think about power though, right? A power, like when you're manifesting from power, it's coming from a state of allowance, and taking that a step further is a state of already being perfect, that because it's done, right? Because like going to the fact that creation is finished, right? So your desire is done. When you assume your desire, it's done, right? And so when you're acting really knowing from that, and everybody is different, because maybe if you know it's done, you are still doing techniques, you're still doing all of these things, but a lot of times, like when it's done, it's done. So when it comes to what we're looking at in front of us, right? We want to look at what's in front of us and say, this is wrong, or this needs to be different, or this needs to change, or, all of these things. We're in a state of resisting what is in front of us, right? We're resisting what is and saying, this is not right, right? And so that is the energy that we're dwelling in majority of the time, is the energy of this is not right, an energy of pushing against, right? And again, like I said, using force to push against, to change this. I need to change this, right? So when we realize that our reality is not reflecting our technique, right? Our reality is reflecting who we're being. Now, a lot of times we can use a technique to manifest a thing, right? To bring something physical into our experience, right? But it will not override who we're being, right? We'll still at the end of the day experience who we're being. And so if our dominant state is a state of something is wrong, something is not right, forcing and feeling like I have to change what's in front of me, that's not exactly the state of the wish fulfilled, right? Now, on the flip side of coming into a state of everything is perfect, and I talked about this in like a video or two ago, of everything is perfect. Everything is literally perfect. And really claiming that. It doesn't like, and it's easy to be, I feel like, more general. But when the specific things come up, you can remind yourself, hi, Stacy. You can remind yourself that, okay, this thing's coming. Oh, my desire. But what about this, right? Because we think about our desire. Like when we get into this no technique, and I'm not saying not to do techniques, guys. I'm just, talking about this. But, like when we get into that, then we think, well, what about my desire though? Like how, if I'm not doing this or if I'm not doing that, then what about my desire? How's it going to come? And that's the thing. Like Neville says in one of his lectures, you can't wonder about how is it going to come when you know that it's done already. You already know that it came already. Hey, Jacarius. And that is the state that we're wanting to get into, you guys. That is really the state of the law of assumption. That is the state of the wish fulfilled, is the state of it's done already. So I don't need to be concerned, right? I don't need to be concerned about, well, how is it going to happen for me? Where is it going to come from? And this state, you guys, it feels so good because it's a state of ease. It's a state of nothing's wrong, right? And so what we want is for everything in our life to unfold perfectly, for us to get every single thing that we want in our life. And then we can claim, that everything's fine, that I have everything I want, that everything's perfect, right? But claim that first though. Claim that everything is fine. When you're looking at 3D, because it's not about what's in 3D, right? It's about what you assume about what's in 3D, right? So you can assume that everything that you're seeing is a part of your bridge. And it's funny because like I was talking about my group program in the beginning of this, and when I had the download of everything, it felt like, and I experienced this in sat scenes too. It really truly feels as if I went there already. I saw it. And now we're knowing like creation is finished. There is no time, right? And so technically you are, when you're imagining, you're going there. You've been there. You've seen it, right? Again, like Neville Murphy, Neville and Joseph Murphy talk about the end scene of the movie where the hero is victorious. You can go back and watch it from the beginning. You can see him fallen. You can see him defeated. You can even see him dead in the middle at the climax, but you've seen the end. So you're not swayed about what's in front of you, right? So that's how it felt. Like there's no, when you're in that state of it's already done, I've already seen it, it's already done, right? And it's not just about doing a sat scene. My bad. Because for me, like with my program, I didn't do a sat scene for it. It kind of downloaded into my brain. And but it was like, it's a knowing that it's done already, right? Like my previous self would be like, okay, like I had this idea come to me. Now I need to go find people. I would be like, now I need to go find people. I need to go and do this. I might need to put some ads out there. I need to make sure this, and this, the way that it is to me now in my brain is like, it already happened. I'm walking the path of it unfolding. So there's nothing for me to do. And that is the energy, you guys, that you want to get into, because now you're magnetic to whatever it is and you're not concerned, right? I was listening to Edward Art Supply this morning, and he was talking about being indifferent. That was the word he used. Like being indifferent to your doubts, being indifferent to, what you're seeing in front of you. And really, you guys, you become indifferent when you really are living in the end, and when you're knowing that the end is it's done. it's done. Just the same way, like I always use the example of getting your paycheck from your job, right? You know, when you're waiting to get paid, it's Wednesday and you haven't gotten paid yet, and you know you get paid on Fridays. You're not waiting with or with anxiety, right? You're not like, oh my God, are they going to pay me? Is it really going to happen? I don't really know. You know what I mean? You're making plans with that money before you even get it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm taking, you know, my girl out, or, you know, oh, I'm going to buy my kids some shoes, or I'm going to, you know, whatever. It's a fact, right? Even though there's no evidence of it, it's not in your bank account, you don't see it. You're going to wake up tomorrow and not see it. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter because you're certain of that it's coming, right? And so this is the mentality that you want to have around your desires, and when it comes to 3D. So it's not that you need to fight anything, right? Because that's the thing. A lot of times we're feeling like I got to fight what's in front of me, because we give supremacy to it, you guys. And give yourself supremacy. Understand that you are above circumstances. And it's so easy, y'all. Even like for me, I had to re-wake up to that this morning. You know what I mean? You are above circumstances. It doesn't matter, because for me, it was something in my life that was causing fear for me, you know, and like something, and it's not even really a big deal, but it was causing me fear. And I was like, oh my God, I'm afraid. So how am I going to manifest this if I'm afraid? It doesn't matter. You're still God. That's the thing. You're still supreme to that. You're supreme to fear. You're supreme to circumstances. You're only hindered by your fear if you believe you're hindered by your fear. Like, you're only like, I was listening to a Neville lecture today, and it's so funny because I've heard this lecture so many times, and I don't think I understood it the way that I understood it today. But it's the one where he's talking about a dream he had where he dreamed like this beautiful angelic being, and then he dreamed it was like an ugly like monster, and the monster was basically saying that the angelic being was its mom, and Neville was mad at it and was like beating up the monster or whatever, and he said the monster just loved it and was just getting stronger and stronger from him beating it up and everything. And he realized like these are basically the manifestations of my mind. Like, this angelic being is the manifestation of all the beautiful thoughts and all the lovely things that I think and put into my mind and my lovely assumptions, and then this ugly monster is, you know, the product of all the negative things that I think and how it feeds off of that, right? Like he said, he starts to fight it because it's like, no, you can't be here, right? This is the circumstances in 3D. This is the stuff that we're facing. Like, no, you can't be here. And we want to fight it, and we want to beat it up, and we want to fuck it up. But it's like, it lives off that, though. It feeds off that. And that's what Neville was saying. Like, it's feeding off of that. What you do is you redeem it, right? You bring it into the light. You realize that, number one, that everything, the angel and the monster, are both contents of your mind. They're both your creation, right? So you don't need to fight it. There's no need for the maid, right? Or for the maker to fight the maid. You just create something else, right? And so I feel like that's it, really, you guys. You know, just when it comes to, there's no need to fight your circumstance, you know. See yourself as above it. And I have my 30-day challenge playlist in the description. That one is good for you guys to understand like your God self, and to understand your supremacy to reality, to 3D, to circumstances, right? That's a good one for you guys to check out. But start to just claim in yourself, no matter how it looks. Oh, it looks like this. It doesn't matter. It's part of my bridge, because I know what I want is done. I've already seen the end of the movie. I've already decided the end of the movie. So I know that it's done, right? Jacarius says, once in a while I daydream, and otherwise I'm like, whatever. I definitely get that. And it's, you know, and it's okay to be like, whatever, as long as you're still just knowing, you know. Stacy says, I always say that everything is perfectly unfolding for me. It's like probably one of the best states I've ever been in. because it's no need to fight. There's no need to try even, and not to say that you don't try, because what you don't want to do is allow yourself to drown in the negative thoughts. You don't want to allow yourself to dwell in negative thoughts, or dwell in or accept, really. That's the thing. Accept that, oh yeah, this is true for me. But when you're in the state of everything is perfectly unfolding, it's a state of such ease and just reception. Like, you're automatically in a state of reception, of receiving. You don't, there's casting your fishing rod, and then there's allowing the fish to come in and get the bait, right? And it's such a relaxing thing to allow. Some of us are just continuous, like throwing the rod. Let that shit sit for a minute. Let the fish fly up and get the bait, right? And Jacarius said, wow, meanwhile, I thought I was slightly apathetic. Good to know about the indifference. It is. Indifference is a good, again, like when you think about your check, you're probably, I wouldn't even say excited. Most people are not even excited. You know what I mean? They're not like, yeah, I get paid on Friday. Woohoo. They're just like, that's just what it is. I'm going to get paid. You know what I mean? Magenta says, what is your advice for someone who's been at this for quite some time and nothing's manifested in the physical? I would say, Magenta, to maybe, I'm not sure what it is that you're trying to manifest, but I would say to manifest some easier small things, like manifest insignificant things, basically. And what that's going to do, because some of us, like, we learn about manifestation and then we right away, we're like, okay, I'm going to manifest a mansion. I'm going to manifest a Ferrari. I'm going to manifest, a husband. But some things, when it comes to manifesting, they take a change in your identity, right? Like a real big shift in your identity. And some things, like manifesting like a free coffee or parking space or something like that, it doesn't, you can do that in whatever identity that you're in. But what I'll say, Magenta, is to find something small, or even, and something I'll suggest to you, Magenta, is to take somebody at work, maybe somebody that you work with, and I want you to reimagine them. Like, let's say it's somebody who is usually like sick or sad or grumpy or something. I want you to just imagine them happy. And the reason I'm saying doing this is because this is something that, like, you have no resistance to that. Like, you don't really, care if whatever. It doesn't have anything to do with you. Your mental ideas are not going to get in the way of that. But it's something that is miraculous enough for you to start building your faith. And that is what I feel like is the thing to do. Like, if you're not having success in manifestation, it could be, that's one of the things. But honestly, I would have to know like a lot more. Let me see. Magenta said, I manifested so much like an apartment, so much in a day to a week. It's SPM money that still hasn't pushed out, and it's been at least 2 years. So yeah, Magenta, that has to do with like your identity, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, some things we can manifest from the identity that we're in. You know what I mean? It doesn't make that much of a difference. But some things it's the identity, it's the core, right? Like that. And that's what I'm talking about in my group program, is that core, because those are the things, when we want to make big shifts in our lives, those are the things that need to be shifted. And we keep trying to do it on the outside, but it's really an inside thing. Jacarius says, can you clarify not doing anything? Because I'm lazy and I don't want to do anything. I can't. You're so funny, Jacarius. No, you really don't have to do anything. But what you do have to do is make sure that you have decided and continue to stay with your decision, Jacarius. And like I said, if it's something deeper, if it's something that is like a core thing for you, then decide that core has changed. Like, it's really about the state that you're coming from. And you can just continue to tell yourself and dwell in the energy and the state of everything is perfect, right? Because if everything is perfect, there really isn't anything for you to do. But what you don't want to do is be really feeling like, oh, I should be doing something and I don't really have it. I need to make it happen, but I don't really feel like I'm not going to do anything. Now that's not going to help you. You know, you have to know really where your state is inside. Do you really feel like it's done? Do you really feel like, yeah, I mean, it's done. I don't need to do anything, right? One thing I'll say, and then I'll hop off, is like Neville talks about it as like a man basically have like ejaculating, right? Like when a man is full of desire, right? And he's erect, he has an erection, right? When he is satisfied that desire, he's no longer erect, right? That's the feeling that it is inside of you. Like when you're still craving something, you're still wanting it, you're not satisfied. You haven't accepted it. And that's something I'll say is in every manifestation that I've done with little to no effort, it's been a decision that this is done, and the desire leaves you. That's the thing. You like when you're still feeling like I have to make it happen or it hasn't happened. How do I make it happen? Right? And this is for you too, Magenta. You're still in the mind frame of how do I make it happen rather than it's already happened, right? It's already happened. That's really your work. That's what you have to do, is to get into it's already happened, right? It's already happened. Even if it's just telling yourself that, if it's whatever, that is the way really to get into to get into that state where desire. And when you're in that, sorry, my phone's dying. But when you're in that state though, you will feel it because you won't be wanting anymore. You won't be chasing. I can't believe it's been 20 minutes already. Magenta says, but yes, I do manifest small things all of the time, and it does push out easily. It's just those two subjects that I've been stagnant in. And Magenta, I want to just call to your attention, read what you're saying, that this is just a story, and then I'm really going to hop off. But remember that everything's just a story, you guys. That is so helpful, because right now, Magenta, and Neville was talking about this morning, we get attached to the state. That's a state that you're in. That's a decision that you've made, that, oh, you know, I can do these other things, but these two things I just can't. That's who you decide that you are. You know what I mean? Decide again. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. Decide again. You know what I mean? Decide different. No, you're the person that can get both of those things. And if I were you, I would do some revision on that. I would revise that. No, it hasn't. It's actually always been the easiest thing for you. No, you've always had your SP. It's actually like he's manifesting you. He's so obsessed with you. He's manifesting you. He just, sometimes you're like, dude, like, can you give me a break? I need a weekend to myself. Like, you're crowding me. Money is always coming to you. You're overflowing. Like, you're not even quite sure what to do with all that shit. Like, you have way more than you just ever could have expected. Like, be delusional, you guys, because your delusions are creating your reality. We're already delusional. We're deluding ourselves into this whole experience. So delude ourselves into a beautiful experience, okay? So I love you guys. Like the video. If you want to support me, comment, you know, all of that helps me. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys soon.